Hi
Hi guys.
Hello.
I'm Angelina.
I'm Kayla.
I'm Ronald.
Welcome to our podcast on Banned Books Halloween edition.
Yay!
So the book we're discussing today is called The Bluest Eye. It's by Toni Morrison, and it's about an 11-year-old African-American girl. She lives in Ohio, and it's just about her everyday struggles dealing with colorism, racism, and sexual abuse. And it's about the people that are in her society and how it affects them as well as how it affects her. And eventually she becomes pregnant with her dad's baby, and eventually she loses the baby. But at the end of the book, she goes crazy due to the society she was surrounded by. And the book is basically just about her life.
Yeah, so reasons why we think the book should be banned is because of its explicit content. Also, racism, colorism, molestation, and also how it kind of encourages young people to compare themselves to others. And yeah.
The reasons it shouldn't be banned is it's a very well written story, and it's a very empowering book. It could teach the audience not to be so dull, and it includes colorism, which not many people know it exists, and that it's a thing that exists, and we shouldn't shy away from an example of comparing ourselves to other people too.
Yep. Now we're going to be picking out some of our quotes. So the quote I picked out is on page 116 on my computer. It says, "I don't want to be ruined. What's ruined? You know, like the Maginot line? She's ruined. Mama said so. The tears came back. An image of Frida, big and fat, came to mind. Her thin leg swollen, her face surrounded by layers of rough skin. I too began to feel tears." I feel like that quote's important because it shows how two young girls are kind of scared because they feel like they're not going to be fit to the standard. So, yeah, that was my quote. And I feel like that could fit under, I guess, political perspective, maybe. But, yeah.
And my quote is when she goes up to...
His quote's on page 170.
It's on page 174. She goes up to a doctor and she says she wants her eyes to be blue. The quote goes by, "What about your eyes? I want them blue," she says. I think it's important because she has the choice to change what she seems is incorrect on herself, on her body. And I think that's important because everybody should get a choice to be able to change what's on their current self.
And my quote is the very last page of the book, or the second to last page of the book. It's on 205. And it says, "All of our waste which we dumped on her and which she absorbed, and all of our beauty which was hers first and which she gave to us, all of us, all who knew her, felt so wholesome after we cleaned ourselves onto her." So basically this is at the end of the book when Piccola goes crazy, and everybody kind of gives her looks and kind of judges her. But the reason that she got to that state is because of the things that she endured from the people around her, like the racism, being sexually abused. It basically turned her into the person she was at the end. And people were just kind of looking at her like she didn't have a reason to be that, and like they weren't the reason to be that. And I think that just goes to show how society goes to treat people and then blames them for how they react. And I think that's important.
Very.
And for the First Amendment and how it relates to literature, it relates to the Bluest Eye because the Constitution protects the right to read and learn freely, and disruptions can be caused by schools and school boards trying to ban books like The Bluest Eye. This could lead to the misalignment between the First Amendment and censorship. And the Bluest Eye in schools can help parents and schools better understand why it's right for the students to read it in schools. And even though it includes most tones of racism, discrimination, and molestation, due to the demonization of the blackness in American culture, the censorship of the books and the challenges faces should be like less focused on.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Oh. And then some factors that motivates people or organizations to challenge or ban the books is similar to what I said earlier. Just how, like, just the explicit content, racism, colorism that's discussed, molestation, and then how it encourages younger people to compare themselves to fit the standards of society. But yeah.
And all in all, I think that the book should not be banned. I think that it opens people's eyes and educates people a little bit on how what you can say affects other people, and colorism, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of what colorism is, and that racism can come in many, many forms. It doesn't just have to come straight out as like slurs, for example. And sexual abuse, it happens pretty often, and the way that it affects people's minds. And that's my take on it. Yeah, take your take.
I also agree. I don't think the book should be banned. I feel like we shouldn't really shy away from serious situations that are discussed in the book, because at the end of the day, a lot of people face them, a lot of people go through them. So yeah, that's why I don't think the book should be banned.
And on my take, I think the book should be banned, not only because it contains views of very sexual scenes, but because of the tones of speech along the book and the usage of the N-word that how it's thrown everywhere. I think that should be one of the main causes of why the book should be banned, or at least challenged.
Okay,
That's
guys.
our podcast. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Until next time.
Have a nice Halloween.
Have a nice
Happy Halloween. Oh, and I'm Drake, by the way, if you guys couldn't tell.
And I'm a cat.
Yeah.